Okay, there is the possibility of a work health and safety question coming up. So, one way to go about it, maybe WHS in design and manufacturing. So, thinking about in the workplace, because it is work health and safety. You could also use an example from your school workshop or something related to the product that you made. This might be a really good opportunity to use your own experience with work health and safety to be able to answer the question. And again, it would depend on what the question was. But one thing that happens in the workplace is a site induction. So say it was a manufacturing plant, and this would allow people visiting the plant to understand all safety aspects. What would the implications be if WHS were relaxed in this area? In case you got this in a big question, well, people could be injured by not understanding the rules and processes. So an example is site induction in a manufacturing plant. Implications are people could get injured if they don't know the rules or processes. Project management, why is it so important to the design process? Keeps the design process on track and allows for regular reviews of the project. Outlines a time frame for completion of different sections of the project, and it can drive the project to meet milestones. If you have good project management, the implications are going to be the successful completion according to the time frame. Higher quality may be achieved by keeping on track, and evaluation can take place based on time taken. Communication. We've talked a bit about it, but changing communication in the design industry, like digital communication, email, Zoom, other social media, a lot more scope for collaboration. A broad range of ideas can be developed by linking with experts or getting, information from a proposed target market, something along those lines. Implications of these changes, your design process is going to be more fluid. Potentially, you might have access to a global network, people in India or China or somewhere that you can use as an expert, faster sharing of ideas and resources. So if they were talking about something to do with communication, it would depend on the question, but hopefully there's some examples there to give it to you. Research methods, our big two research methods, primary and secondary, I've just listed there, but primary, we know it's research to yourself. Examples could include surveys, interviews, observations, ethnographic research. A good researcher knows how to use both primary and secondary sources in their writing to integrate them in a cohesive fashion. Secondary research involves the summary, collation of existing research, and involves, primary research means you do it. Secondary research means that, you can source and analyze existing data. Ethics in design, there's a few. You could go back into the sustainable timber use, the old growth rainforest versus the timber farming if you wanted to, but built-in obsolescence was one that we talked about a lot in class in terms of ethics. And just simply because we could say what the positives and negatives were for the producer and the consumer of the product. So built-in obsolescence, may even think about the light bulb example, which you may be aware of, where they make light bulbs fail after a certain amount of time. For the producer, that increases their turnover. People need to keep buying light bulbs, so they may have more profit. For the consumer, they're forced or encouraged to buy more products. Same as telephones would be a great example for the built-in obsolescence. The new phone comes out and you're kind of encouraged to buy it because you want the new features. Potentially, say it was Apple, they stopped supporting one of the old phones or systems that they had, so you have to buy it. Things along those lines. I did put down there materials sourcing as another example of ethics. So it could be unsustainable, could be socially damaging. Sometimes, some things that we're getting are using third world child labour in the production. So those are some ethical things in the design process that you could potentially keep in your mind to try and talk about.